Ladies and gentlemen, this video is for anyone looking to make their outbound emails more personalized and effective. Today, I'll show you how to use AI to write customized outbound emails in bulk connected directly to your lead list. By the end, you'll have a simple system to automate highly tailored outreach that gets results. Hey, I'm Nacho, founder of Flowhawk, where we help SMBs work smarter, not harder, by using AI and no-code automation. On this channel, I share simple, practical ways to automate your sales, marketing, and operations without needing to code. If you want to upgrade your game with AI, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let's get into it. So we are in my n8n, running it locally. That's something we can discuss on another video, but I wanted to show you how the workflow goes. So the full point of this is to be writing personalized emails that then you will be able to send in bulk. So we're going to go over the workflow. In this example, I'm just triggering the workflow by testing the workflow. And I have connected my CRM here. I have my CRM in a Google Sheets. I have about 500 contacts there. You can connect anything here, whether if it's Pipedrive, HubSpot, Salesforce, you can connect it here in this node. And I have added this limit, which means that if in my CRM I have, 100 or 1,000 contacts, I only want to export 100 or 50 for the sake of this video. So in this example, I have 149, which means that I'm going to be extracting 149 rows from my Google Sheets. So you're going to have to connect your Google Sheets with your credentials. We can also get over this on another video. And then we are going to be getting rows. This is the option we're going to select to get rows. You select which file do you want to connect to. So in our example, it's this CRM. And then within the file, which sheets is it going to be connected to? So in this example, leads, marketing, and digital. Then something interesting, let's say that you have a massive CRM with a lot of rows and you don't want to start from zero. So here we're going to add an option here, you will select specify range rows. It's going to be reading from the header. So that's in my case, like row 1, where it's going to be extracting whether if each column's property, whether if it's name, organization, LinkedIn, whatever. And then we will select which row do they want them to start extracting information. In our case, since it's a large document, I selected that I want the workflow to start in row 378. Okay, so until here it's clear. And then so I've limited that from this, starting in row 378, we're only gonna pull 149 rows, which that means that then the workflow would stop once this loop has run for 149 times. We're gonna get into this. What we have here right now is a loop, which means that these actions that are gonna be run per row are gonna be running once after the other for as many times as we wish. So here we add the loop over items, just one row per loop in this scenario. And what we're gonna do here is, and then we're gonna actually test the workflow to see if it works. There shouldn't be any issue. Now this HTTP request is extracting information from a website. And now we are summarizing the information from that website. We are writing the email, and it should be added in the Google Sheets as we speak. Perfect. Now it's running the flow again, and it's going to be doing this for as long as we want until we don't stop the workflow or the limit has been reached. Usually the flow in HTTP request is the one that takes longer because it's basically extracting information from a website, right? And sometimes a website is struggling. But we already saw how it's working once. We're going to come here. We want to see, yep. So basically what we do here is, here's a little trick that not everybody speaks about, which is this shortcut before the JSON website, right? So here, what we're basically saying is to get information from the website, right? So we add json.website. So we would basically drag and drop this here. We would add it here. And now we are getting the website column from our spreadsheet. So in order to have a better scrapping, we add this HTTPS // r.gina.ai, which is a converter that turns HTTPS into AI LLM ready content. So it removes a bunch of the stuff that is not necessary for the LLM, and then it extracts the remaining content. So this is already filtered. Imagine what could it be without the Gina.ai. And you just have to connect this in here. Once we have scrapped all this data, it's too much to write that, to turn that into an email. So we add a summarization chain connected to OpenAI. So let's see how this work goes. We're going to be using a Node.json input here, and then simple. And this character per chunk is basically how many characters do we want to be sending to the LLM. In this scenario, we are going to be sending 500,000 with an overlap of 800, which means that in between chunks, there might be we need to have an overlap in between one chunk and the following one, so that the LLM has the content of what's happening throughout the entire text that we're sending. And we are connecting whatever model you want. In our scenario, we have connected GPT-4o Mini. You have to connect here your API, but we can get through that on another video. And then here we have the GPT-4o Mini. That is a good model. If you compare price quality, it's a pretty solid model. You're gonna have to top up your OpenAI account with a few cents in order to run these workflows, but it's super cheap. That's not a problem. And here, once we have the summarization of the website, we have here that from the entire chunk of text that we saw earlier, we have a summary of the website, right? It's extracting a bunch of stuff. There's portfolio, clients, whatever. It focuses on the agency, focus on trust and marketing strategies, blah, blah, blah. It's getting information from the website. With this, we are going to be writing an email, right? So we're going to be creating an AI agent that is going to be getting information from the website, analyzing the information from the website, and then write an email draft with other information that we can extract from the Excel sheet. So we are going to select the conversational agent. And as of prompt source, instead of take from previous node, we are going to click here and define below. As in the text, you can add whatever prompt you want. You can iterate. I iterated a lot. I spent 2 hours easy writing this prompt and rating and changing stuff. I did use, of course, help of OpenAI and Chat and Gemini to get the prompt, but I had to tweak a couple of things. You can read this on your own. I can copy paste this on the description, but I guess you can actually pause it and get to see the entire prompt. But as we see here, you can add parameters from the Google Sheets or from your CRM in order to make the email more customized, right? So here, important, briefly, and smoothly complement the client's partnership from their website. So whatever you are extracting from the website, mention something about partners and clients. And here I would drag the text and put it here. JSON.response.text is this response text. You can literally drag and put it in whatever in the text. And then follow with a similar with here. I have a more limited kind of sentence to put on the draft. And then I add some rules of steps that the email has to have. So a hook, which is going to be including part of this text. And then if you want to get the company name added into the flow, you would come here, loop over items, and we have all the information extracted from the row on the CRM. Here you would go to website, drag it here, and boom, you have your company here. Then tone rules, I like to add words that I don't want them to use. So don't use I, we, or weak words like might, could, likely, bottleneck, tedious, and the exclamation mark. I want you to sound confident, actionable, and always end with a signature. And then I also like to put an example, sometimes given by AI, of an example that I liked from previous prompts or whatever. Therefore, the agent, when it's going to write this new email, it already has an idea of how it should look like. So you're going to have to pivoting in order to find the prompt that you like. And then you can start seeing output examples. Here, it's pretty solid. Oh, also important I added somewhere on the descriptions up top that I want, briefly, Draft an email with proper line breaks. That's it, proper line breaks between sections. That's an important point, because then if not, the text is going to be just a chunk. And here we have the /n, which is a proper double enter so that we have space between name and the upcoming sentences. Your work with all these impressive similar agencies used to do cross-platform data aggregation manually. Custom AI agents solve this, cutting busy work by up to 60% influencer marketing. Curious what? So this is a pretty solid email that the AI wrote. Again, I forgot to mention this. I added this chat model, which is Gemini 2.5. Again, on another video, I'm going to be explaining how to connect all these APIs. But here is the model that I like. You can iterate on whatever model that you enjoy. And you're going to have to create a window buffer memory, which is basically adding memory to this AI agent, right? So that it can actually understand and get this prompt every time that the agent runs on its own. So as a session ID defined below, you will put here whatever key that you want. I said plain sentence, but it doesn't really matter. And then a standard context window, which is how many past interactions the model received has context from. So this is basically the agent has examples from 5 previous runs. So from 5 previous emails that has typed. So this is basically the kind of the window of memory that it has when it runs. And then once this agent has completed the email, we're gonna go back and send this text back to the CRM, and it's gonna be adding the text into a new column that we have created in the CRM so that we have all the messages there, because then we're gonna trigger another workflow, which is gonna be sending those emails automatically. So right now we're only drafting them so that we can always keep an eye on the emails that we're writing. And again, here, when you add this, instead of doing the get row, we're gonna do update row, which is basically update an existing row. In order to do that, we're gonna connect same file, same sheets, and then match the column to the row, right? So let's say that I want to match my email draft to an email. So whenever they see this email per se, the email that I'm gonna drag from here, whenever they see done, offer done, whatever, then we're gonna add the corresponding email to a different column within the same row, right? This is very important. Basically what this means is that this node needs to understand in which row does this belong. And in order to tell them the row, you're gonna select a column that the information changes one after the other. So in this case, it would be the email that is changing row after row. So then it would know where this belongs. And then again, we have to match the row as in the first node earlier to row 378 because we want the workflow to start from there. So with this workflow running, if you let it run, it can do up to, in this case, 108 times, which means that you're gonna have 108 email written and you're not doing anything in the meantime. So this workflow, I like to keep an eye on it. I reiterate a lot the prompt of the email, but it's still pretty solid. It has created a bunch of emails for me. This is a great tool in case you want to send custom emails. Again, you can change the prompt. You might think that my prompt was shit, but you can change to whatever you like. But this is a way to send more custom emails that stand out more. Oh, and I forgot to mention, actually, you can also select here. Oh, no, that's it. So that is it for now. We're going to be creating more videos of how to plug in all these APIs. So the Gemini API, OpenAI API, the Google API. That's the annoying part of n8n, because it's not easy sometimes with some of these tools. Google, for example, Google Cloud is slightly more complex to get these APIs running, but it's super worth it once you have it running. So I hope you liked it. You can now get started building your own custom email messages tailored based on website or whatever. I hope you liked it. See you on the next episode.